captain and the vice captain, Truth Ekong, talking tough ahead of the match. So many things to talk about as we continue our countdown to that very important match coming up on Friday. We also have news from the camp of the Leone Stars of Sierra Leone. They're expected to be in Benin today. And we have news that all the foreign-based players invited for the match by the Sierra Leoneans are around, and they are going to be coming with the team today. And also there's been a volte-face or a turnaround by the captain of the side, Umaru Bagura, who was initially dropped because he was deemed not to be fit, but he has said he has made himself available, saying that he's fully fit to play, so he's back in the team. If that was going to be a positive for Nigeria, well, with Super Eagles coach Kenotra should begin to make preparations that Umaru Bagura, the captain of Leone Stars, is going to be part of that team. News from the English FA, Greg Clark, the chairman of the Football Association, resigned over comments he made about black players, racist comments, and it didn't go down well with a lot of people, and he had to step down from his position yesterday. We shall talk about that, and we look ahead to the year-ending ATP finals, where the top 8 teams, top 8 players in the world, but feature. They compete to get the ATP champion, and the list of those that will compete for this year has been released. And leading the list is Rafael Nadal and Novak Djokovic, along with 6 other players that make up the top 8 in the world. So we shall be talking about that and so many other things. As usual, Super Eagles Watch will be coming up also in the program. We shall serve you all this and more on the program, so sit back while we ensure that you have a very good time watching us this morning. Let me quickly welcome Austin Arume, my colleague.
Thank you for having me.
And Blessing Basi.
Good to be here.
Together, we'll try to make your time with us a pleasant one as we serve you the very best on the Grand Sports Center this morning. We'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll get straight to the issues of the day. Welcome back to the Grand Sports Center. Straight, we go to the Super Eagles camp. What's happening there? We had, as at yesterday when we were on this program, we just had about 4 or 5 players in camp, and we were talking about the possibility of Nigeria not getting the full complements of players. Yeah. Should they not be up to 15 by Friday? Yeah. We may have to forfeit 3 points to the Sierra Leoneans, because the players were having travel problems with their flights and all whatnot. But then, as at evening yesterday, when they had their first workout, we had 16 players in camp, and that was a good development. And this morning, 3 more joined: Eduke, Chidra Eduke, Samuel Chukwueze, and Paul Nachu joined the 16 that were in camp yesterday. Let me quickly go over the list of those that were in camp when they trained at the Samuel Ogbomudia Stadium yesterday, and we now have, like I told you, there were 16 of them. We had Ahmed Musa, William Truth Ekong, Alex Iwobi, Olaino, Joe Aribo, Leo Balongu, Kevin Akpoguma, Sebastian Osigwe, Zaidu Sanusi, Teron Eboyi, Etebo Ogenekaro, Maduka Okoye, Ikechukwu Ezenwa, Chidoze Awazem. Then by this morning, we had Samuel Chukwueze, Paul Onuachu, and Chidra Ejuke joining them. Are we beginning to get a feel of what to expect on Friday?
Yeah, I think it's a good one. I'm actually delighted, by the fact that these players, they're actually itching to come and play for the Eagles. We all know what they have to pass through, to come to Nigeria with travel restrictions here and there. It shows the commitment on the part of the players, to play for their fatherland, and I must commend the players, for doing what is right. And we understand that Victor Osimhen they said he's already on his way, and he will probably join the team, today. It's a very, very good one. At least we can relax, knowing the fact that at least we have up to 16 already, with more to join.
And Daniel Akpe is still on his way.
Yeah, Daniel Akpe is on his way, so I believe we'll have a team that can persecute this particular one.
Well, Genetra, just like Austin just said, the players had to go through a lot to come to Nigeria. Some of them could not get a connecting flight from Europe direct to Nigeria. They had to go through Ethiopia. You could imagine how stressful it is, because I know that from between Nigeria and Ethiopia it's about 6 hours by air. I've done that journey before. So you can imagine, first of all, going to Europe, or going to Ethiopia from Europe, and then another 6-hour journey from Ethiopia, from Addis Ababa to Nigeria. So the players must have gone through a lot. But then the good news is that they are in Nigeria and they are ready to go. And what does this tell you about the commitment of the players? Because some of them would have just said, okay, I can't get a flight, no, stay back. But they made it a point of duty to come.
Yes, I feel like this match against Sierra Leone is an all-important game. The fact that our performance between Algeria and Tunisia didn't actually go down well, if you'd ask me. So we expected, to play today's Friday's game rather, against the Sierra Leone, score goals. That's what we need, and these players are needed, obviously, and it's normal that players coming from their various clubs and the restrictions on coronavirus have really affected, players trying to come in, but it shows the patriotism in them and shows how they are determined, to come, all out to play the game against Sierra Leone, which is a good one.
And talking about coronavirus, like you just mentioned, the Eagles were made to undergo a coronavirus test this morning. How important is this test, given the fact that they're coming from Europe, from different countries? So how important is this test?
I think it's very, very important at this point in time. They have to be satisfied medically before they can even persecute this match. But the fact is, they have these players are on ground now, and let's know what's going to happen.
We'll come back to that. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll go back to this issue of the coronavirus test for Super Eagles players. Welcome back. It's to the Grand Sports Center on Grand Sport Extra. We're talking about the Super Eagles. We are counting down to the match against Sierra Leone, and we're actually talking specifically about the issue of coronavirus tests that the players were made to undergo this morning. Austin, you were saying something about the importance of having this test for the players.
Yes, you cannot overemphasize the importance of having this test for the players, owing to the fact that these guys are coming from different clubs, different routes, and you don't know who they might have come in contact with, and you know how important it is, for them to also execute this match and go back, coronavirus free. So I think it's safe, for them to run this test to ascertain, the fitness, and the how do I call it now? Whether they have coronavirus or they don't have it, so as to reduce the risk of us, having a series of infected, players in camp, and then we have to go and call the home-based players to come and execute the match. I think it's very, very important at this point in time, for the test to be carried out.
The Super Eagles coach has won his players, just like the assistant coach Joseph Yobo said yesterday that it will be a difficult match. Kenotro, coach of Super Eagles, has recorded it. So, how difficult do you think this match will be, or how much of an opposition do you think the Serenian team can be to the Super Eagles?
Yeah, of course, if you'd ask me, it's going to be a difficult match, first of all. The fact that we are playing in an open stadium where there's closed stadium where there are no fans, then no one to cheer them up, no one to support them, and the Sierra Leoneans are going out there, to get a win, in that match. It's going to be a difficult one. We just heard that their captain is back and is going to be part of that game, and being that they also want a point too in that match, they also want to win that match. Yes.
So it will be very, very difficult because they too also have a fair share of their foreign-based players. We shall be talking about the Sierra Leonean team later on the program, but for now, let's concentrate on the Super Eagles. Coach Ghana has also given a pass mark to the Samuel Gbamudia Stadium. Yesterday we were talking about he has not been to Benin to check out the stadium, so that if there's any issue he needs to raise, then at least he will be able to raise it early enough.
Yeah.
But as things are, he was in Benin yesterday. He has taken time. They even had their first workout. If I can quote him, he said they did some short passes and discovered that the stadium will be good to play football. So that's a pass mark for the stadium.
I think I must commend the Edo state government for making sure that adequate preparations are made to make sure that this match comes out a successful one. So I think I've not seen it, but with what I've seen online, the images flying on air,
and the confirmation
and the confirmation by the Super Eagles coach, it means it's actually a standard stadium, and I believe FIFA CAF cannot approve a stadium if they believe it's not up to standard. So I must commend the Edo State government for the arrangement so far.
We understand that, talking about the Edo State government, we understand that the Deputy Governor, Honorable Philip Shuaibu, was part of Super Eagles training. We've known him to be a footballer, and he played some matches for Bendel Insurance, I think 2 seasons ago, when we were campaigning in the second division. We had the playoffs to come to the Premier League. He played for the team, and he's a footballer, and but then he changed the Super Eagles yesterday. How much of a motivation? Because I don't think we've ever had this kind of situation where a top government official come out openly like this to identify with the team. Eagles have played in different states across the country. I don't think we've ever seen any high-ranking government officials taken to the pitch with the players. And they may have played some novelty games with some government officials in the past, but actually joining their training. How much of a motivation can gestures like this be for the players? Only feeling well that some of them are coming to Benin for the first time. How much of a relaxing effect can it be on the players?
Well, I think it's more of self-motivation, especially to the players, and the fact that everyone is excited for that game. And like you said, some of the players haven't even come. This is probably their first time, coming, to play. But at the same time, I think this act is a means of motivating the players, especially looking forward to the game against Sierra Leone. I feel like since they are playing at home, they're probably trying to bring this home embrace, and the fact that they should go all out there. There's nothing special about the game, and also win that game against Sierra Leone.
Well, the Super Eagles players are talking tough ahead of the match. Captain Ahmed Musa has been saying it, that they're going to win, and they're going to do everything to ensure that they win. The vice captain, Christian Truth Ekong, is even looking beyond the qualifiers. He's talking about winning the African Cup of Nations itself. Well, I just hope that the Super Eagles are not getting carried away or too overconfident. What do you think?
I don't think they are being too overconfident. I don't want to sound rude, but if you check, the Sierra Leonean side, I don't think they are up there yet. If you check their recent result, I think in the last um, FIFA calendar,
Okay.
the last time they played against Mauritania and against Niger Republic, they lost both games. And these are not even heavyweight when you compare them to the likes of Algeria and Tunisia. I'm not trying to say
Football
because
does not work that way.
Yeah, it does not work
We
that
always say
way.
football is not mathematics. You
Yeah.
can actually say
Exactly.
1 plus
You
1 in
can't really
football must be
predict.
equal to
Yeah,
2.
but all those things count in football. If you check our head-to-head, I think the last time they won against Nigeria was in 2001 or so. So I think so far so good. We played against them 16 times. They won 9 times. I think won 9 times. They are drawn 3, and then we lost 2. I think that's just about it. And so far so good. If you consider the players on ground for the Super Eagles, I believe, let's not get too carried away though, but it's football. Anything can happen. But one thing I keep saying is the fact that we have, the kind of players that can execute this match without any hitch, so to say. I believe they're not too overconfident. But again, I'll say, they're just trying to play on the mind of, the Sierra Leonean side. Coming into this game, I believe it's part of the mind game as well. So,
Well, there's nothing wrong in being overconfident,
Yeah.
but in being confident. But it's when you're overconfident, you now write off your opponent that there's a problem. I'm sure that psychologists will work on the players to make them understand, just like Coach Kenetro has already started. Because as a coach, it's not just only about imparting knowledge of the game on the players, you also work on their mindset. So he has already started preparing their mind for such eventualities when he said earlier that the match was going to be difficult, and he has told his players not to expect an easy game. Well, for the Nigerian national team, they've had their first training yesterday. They have one today, this morning, evening, then tomorrow. Maybe about 4 or 5 training sessions eventually before they take on Sierra Leone. Will this be enough to get them really, really ready for the match on Friday?
Well, if you ask me, I feel they should have their training every now and then. In the mornings, in the evenings.
You want to burn them out because they are human beings.
Honestly,
you burn them out, and that will be very, very risky.
yeah.
Well, that's true. That's true. But at the same time, we need at least 4 points. We have a double header. We have to win the game at home and also, win the game in Freetown after 4 days. We need this point. At least 4 points is enough for us to, qualify for the competition. Exactly.
I agree with you totally. So we'll continue to talk about the Super Eagles. We still have tomorrow to prepare for the match, and we'll continue to serve you the latest as it happens in the Super Eagles camp. Like we said earlier, a lot of players have come, about 19 now, but we still have the likes of Victor Osimhen, Semi Ajayi, Daniel Akpeyi, and the late invitee, Abdullahi Shehu, that are yet to make it to the camp, to make it 23. So hopefully they will all arrive, and then we have a full house, and the best will be selected to represent Nigeria on that day. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about this Nigerian opponent, the Sierra Leonean team. Nigeria, the Super Eagles are not going to play against sticks. They're going to play against human beings like them. It's going to be 11 players on both sides. So you can rest assured that that's why the Eagles coach has been saying it's going to be a difficult game. We're going to explore this. We're going to talk about the Sierra Leonean team and see 1 or 2 things about them that could be of great interest to us Nigerians, especially to the Super Eagles technical handlers as they prepare the team for the match. After this break. Welcome back to the Grand Sports Center. And next we'll talk about the Lone Stars of Sierra Leone. They're expected to be in Nigeria today. And by the time they arrive, it will be like setting the stage for the match to take place. Because now, you could say Super Eagles are on ground, but their opponents are not around. So is the match going to take place? But once they come, no excuse anymore, we'll be sure. But I know that they'll be around because we have information that they've been training in Freetown and they're getting set for Friday's encounter. About 7 foreign-based players have already arrived at camp, and most of them trained with the team. Top on the list, Anderlecht of Belgium striker Mustafa Bundu has already arrived, and Queen's Park Rangers midfielder Osman Keke. They have other foreign-based players like Finland-based Mohamed Medo Kamara, Orebro SK left back Kevin Wright, LA Galaxy in the MLS, top scorer Augustine Williams, and former Milan midfielder Rose Strasser, and Randers of Denmark striker Alaji Kamara. They have all been part of the team. Expected to join the team, the quintet of K. Kamara, Captain Omaru Bangura, like we said, has returned to the team, and FC Ali Sese. John Kamara is also expected to join the team. Two players, John Kamara and Kwame Kwe, are expected to fly to Nigeria on Wednesday, so they are likely going to join the team here. But now, this is the Lone Stars of Sierra Leone. Austin gave us a brief picture of the head-to-head with Nigeria over the years. Nigeria has always had the better of them in previous encounters. But then this is different scenario, no fans, and I'm sure that they will fancy their chances this time around. What do you think?
Oh yes, they will fancy their chances, especially the fact that a lot of people are looking forward to this match. You know, I will go with Gennett Roy's appeal to the Super Eagles. The fact that he said it's really going to be a top nut to crack. You know, like you said, they are not stakes. They are not playing against stakes. They are obviously playing, you know, an 11-11 man game in the pitch of play. So we are expected that when they come in, because they also have foreign-based players, and they also have players that could make a mark in that game. So we need to go all out to win that game, whether they are fans or not. The important thing is to concentrate on the 3 points in that game.
The captain of the side, Umaru Bangura, has confirmed his availability after he was initially dropped because he was deemed not to be fit. Because he says he's fit and he has been included in the team. How much of a motivation or a boost will this be for these youngsters?
Umaru Bangura is one of the most experienced, if not the most experienced player in that team. He's 33 and is one of the foreign-based players for FC Zurich in Switzerland. So it says a lot about him. But nevertheless, it's a big boost, you know, to the Sierra Leonean side, considering he's their captain. You know, coming into this match, they need every bit of motivation, you know, they can get. So at this point in time, Umaru Bangura coming into the team is a good one for the Sierra Leonean side.
Still sticking with Umaru Bangura, he had a bad experience the last time out when they failed to win, when they were knocked out of the race for the 2022 World Cup. He had the opportunity to score a last-minute penalty, which he missed, and the fans went riot. They even broke into his family home to destroy things. He felt very bad. He retired from the national team briefly and is back. So do you think that that experience and the fact that he now has an opportunity to right the wrongs or make the fans get, how do I put it, to right the wrongs of the last encounter where that bad experience of missing a penalty, and also getting back in the good books of the fans with this match against Nigeria will be an extra push for him coming to Lagos and coming to Benin, and should we expect him to be at his best in Benin?
Of course, we should expect Bandura to be at his best in Benin, because we know how much professional games he plays, and he has had issues, yes, especially the fact that he has fans that expects the best from him, and those kind of things happen. But at the same time, we should expect a more difference of Umaru Bandura coming playing the game on Friday, and we should be ready for him come Friday.
And of course, the Sierra Leoneans are blessed with a lot of good players. In the past, it was Mohamed Kaloun. Then when you have Mohamed Kaloun, it's like you were just standing alone.
Yeah.
But now there's no standout player per se, but they have a collection of players, which is more dangerous because now you're not just about one player not performing. It's about a collection of players, which makes it's like they are now a stronger team as a unit.
Yeah.
And for me, we could talk about the Anderlecht striker, Bongo, and the Queen's Park Rangers midfielder. But K. Kamara actually is of great interest. Who plays in the major league, that's in the United States League for Minnesota United. He has so far scored 1 goal in 7 matches, but that was for this season.
Yeah.
But his record of goals in the last couple of seasons has been tremendous. In 2019-2020 season, when he was playing for Colorado Rapids, he scored 17 goals in 38 games.
Yeah.
And during the 2018 season, when he was with Vancouver Whitecaps, he made 28 appearances and scored 14 goals. And at New England Revolution, it was 2016-2017, he scored 19 goals in 52 outings. What this tells you is that in the last 4 seasons, he has scored over an average of 15 goals in every season for the clubs he has played. K. Kamara, he's said to have fled Sierra Leone during the Civil War when he was a kid, and now his family moved to the United States, but he's back playing for the national team. Is this a player we should look out for?
I think it's a player we should look out for. We are going into this game, but though he's aging, he's 36 now, and I believe the strength or he might no longer have that leg to carry him, but he's a very, very dangerous guy. As a striker,
it's not He's 38 years old.
Yeah, but as a striker,
and he's still scoring for Milan.
As a striker,
so does it really count here?
What is important is the experience. But he might not have the leg to carry him anymore. But the fact is, he knows where the back of the net is. And we should watch out for K. Kamara. Going into this game.
Well, we could talk a lot of things about the Leon Stars of Sierra Leone, and we can't actually exhaust talking about these two sides, talking about the Super Eagles and the Leon Stars of Sierra Leone. But we still have more days to come. Tomorrow, we'll explore more as we continue to keep close tabs on these two teams as we build up to that match on Friday. Instead of Grand Sports Center, we'll take another break, and when we come back, we'll go to England, where we hear that the chairman of the Football Association, Greg Clark, has resigned. He resigned because of over-racist comments he was said to have made, and he apologized, then had to step down from his position. What led to this? What was the implication of events like this, especially for black players in Britain? We'll do that. We'll talk about that after we return from this short break. Welcome back to Grand Sports Center, and straight we go to England, where there's been a little shake-up in the Football Association. Not a shake-up, but the chairman, Greg Clark, had to step down over unacceptable language he used when referring to black players, which many people see as racist in some sense. He was testifying before the parliament, and in the course of even projecting the cost of black players, he was actually speaking in the favor of black players, but then he used certain terms that were not acceptable to refer to black players as colored, and that's one derogatory term that is normally used to refer to black players. So he was asked to apologize, which he did, but then that was not enough. He followed up with his resignation. This thing has happened, and it keeps on happening, this issue of racism in sports, not just football, just across board. And even from fans, we're used to it, fans trolling black players of opposing teams, but coming from top management at this level, you could refer to it as a slip of tongue, but then at that level, such excuses are not permitted. What do you make of it all?
Yeah, it's so disappointing, considering the fact that, that should not be heard from anybody who is sharing an organization. But the thing is, this is not the first time Craig is being involved in something like this. I think 3 years ago, while he was, addressing the same parliament, he used another phrase, which the MP has to chastise him, and then he took back his words. And this time around again, he's repeating the same thing. I think there was also a time, he had to withdraw a particular statement he made, in this same regard. So it shows a pattern, and you cannot say it's a slip of tongue, after two, three occasions of talking about something like that. And I think it's very, very disappointing. And I just thank God that he has resigned. I think that's the best thing he can do at this point in time.
Yes, indeed, and his resignation has opened up the space. So, if now is this time for the English football authorities to put their money where their mouth is? So, if actually you are chastising somebody over a racist comment, and you are advocating for more inclusion of blacks and other ethnic minorities in the administration of football, could we say that in order to actually right the wrongs of the past and move forward, it's time that we have a black man or a woman as the next Football Association chairman?
Well, I'll start with the fact that sport generally, it's supposed to be a community attracted by different spheres of life, whether you're black, you're an Asian, you are wherever. So for him to have made such comments, it's really, it's obviously a big one, and it has affected him that he had to, step down. But what was your question again?
Is it about time we get a black man or woman as the next English Football Association chairman?
Oh yes.
At least,
yes.
if not for anything, to make up for the wrongs of the past.
Yes, I think
And
that
also
should be the case.
make them feel really included. Putting your money where your mouth is. If you are saying that we want inclusion now, fine. You chastise Greg Clark for making racist comments. So why don't you just take it to the next level? Now make a black man chairman, and let's know that you actually mean what you've been saying. Would that be a step in the right direction?
Yes, I think it's a step in the right direction. I think it's high time they make these very people they always talk about, in charge of these various positions, just so there will be little or no comments at all. Let them take charge. Let them know that. Let them know that yes, these are people that won't attract at least more of these racism issues.
And give undue bad publicity to the association. I think probably maybe moving forward, subsequently, people vying for positions like this in various level of sports, maybe some background checks become necessary to ensure that before even getting to this kind of exalted position,
Yeah.
um, whatever um, your mentality or whatever your take on this issue of racism
Yeah.
is put in check, so that anybody that has any inkling of moving towards the left in terms of supporting this inequality will definitely not have the opportunity of getting to this position of authority.
I think
Background checks.
I,
How important is it?
I think yeah, you have to do a background check. I was listening to Adebayo Akinfenwa talking about his time in Lithuania the other day, and he was actually the first black player to play in the Lithuanian league. And what he said is the fact that some of these people are actually ignorant. He said when he came to the club, some of his players, even his own fans, they were actually part of the people who were actually singing the racist chants. And he said I got to a point where he I think he won them their first trophy, and the fans, they started liking him. Then he now realized that it's not a matter of them not liking black people. The fact is, some of these people, they are actually ignorant, and it all stems down to the fact that I think it's down to background. What you were told while you were growing up. So I think
that's why
background check. You should carry on a background check before allowing somebody like that into a position.
It's very
like
important that a lot of advocacy be done. I thought that by now we'll have regular workshops, symposium. A lot is taking place, but I think a lot more needs to be done to educate people out there that it's not just right in this present age and time to actually judge somebody based on skin color or ethnic nationality. Well, we wish Greg Clark well in his future endeavors. It's obvious that football administration is not the place for people like him, because there you have people from diverse ethnic groups, and you must be ready to accommodate everybody as one. We'll take another break, and when we return, we'll talk tennis. Rafael Nadal, Novak Djokovic leads top the list of players that will be competing in the season-ending ATP final, and so we'll get to see who the other players are, talking about the top 8 in the world and what their various chances are of winning this season-ending competition. Welcome back to the Grand Sports Center, and next we'll talk tennis. The This year's ATP final will be played as usual at the O2 Arena, which has hosted the competition since 2009. And for the last time to be played at the London O2 Arena. From next year, it will move to Turin, Italy. For this year, the top 8 players that will be competing, they're selected based on their ATP rankings, are Novak Djokovic, Rafael Nadal, Dominic Thiem, Daniel Medvedev, Stefanos Tsitsipas, Alexander Zverev, Andrei Rublev, and Diego Schwartzman. Those are the 8 players. No Roger Federer, we understand, he's been injured all season. But then, Novak Djokovic, Rafael Nadal, the way this competition is played, the 8 players are divided into 2 groups of 4 players each. They play against themselves and in the round robin. And the top 2 qualify for the semi-finals. Top 2 from each group qualify for the semi-finals. Then they play against themselves before we get to finalists. Well, this year's competition, this is season-ending final. And what does this mean? Is it what battling for Djokovic, whatever the result, is going to end up as #1 in the world? Yeah. But then, what is there for these players?
I think for Novak Djokovic, he has 5 ATP final titles, and Federer already has 6. You know, the fact that he has this chance, to equal Roger Federer's record, is enough motivation. Enough motivation and enough reason for him to go all out, and try to win this title. But then we have Andrei Rublev, who has been in form. So far, so good. This year, he has won 5 titles in 2020. So he's in form. Tsitsipas is the Greek guy. Tsitsipas, I beg your pardon. The Greek guy is the defending champion, but then he has been battling with injury alongside what's his name? Thuram. Thuram too has,
Dominic Thiem.
Dominic Thiem, I beg your pardon. Dominic Thiem was actually, he played the final last year, but he too has been, struggling with injury. So I believe it's down to Roger Federer, I beg your pardon, Djokovic, Novak Djokovic, Rafael Nadal, and probably Rublev. I think
so it boils down to the 2 main people.
Yeah.
But then this competition has been known over the years not to follow the form book. Ordinarily, when you go for any ATP tournament, be it a Grand Slam or just a normal ATP tournament, when you see Novak Djokovic in the draw, Rafael Nadal in the draw, Roger Federer in the draw, it has to be either of these 3 that will end up being champions. Yeah. But the ATP finals has not been known to follow it like that because of the way it is organized. It's like you play a round robin, you are in a group. Not like you play 1 match, you're eliminated. Play 1 match, you lose, you're eliminated. No. So you play 1, you lose, you play another one. It's like a group match. Then they not tabulate the points at the end of the day to determine the top 2 in that group that will qualify from that group to the semi-final. So it's a different ball game altogether. So the fact that Novak Djokovic and Rafael Nadal are top of their game at the moment, would it really still count? It's a competition open for anybody to take.
Yes, I think the competition is open for anybody to take. The fact that it's an open competition and it's a group game, you win or you don't win, you get to play another game. We saw players like Tsitsipas in last year's final, winning against Thiem. Yeah. That's what we're talking about. Yes, so it's open.
So the final was not even between Novak Djokovic or Rafael Nadal. Yeah. So it just buttressed what I just said.
Exactly, it does buttress what you said, and anyone could go further in the game and also win.
Yes. What about the outsiders? Diego Schwartzman. These are young players that are below 24 years. And Rublev, you said, is battling injuries. But then Alexander Zverev and Daniel Medvedev just won the Paris Masters. So these are players that are at the top of their game, and it could just swing to anybody.
Yeah, it can swing to anybody. But what I'm actually considering is the fact that Rafael Nadal has broken so many records this year alone.
So there's no record to break again.
There's no record to break again. And the fact that Novak Djokovic actually might want to make a statement.
We end, whether I lose this, whether I win or not, we end the year
as number one. But the fact that there's a record to equal, I think that will spur him on, going into this game. He might want to, put that extra effort to make sure that he equals, that record. And probably still, with time on his side, he might even, surpass that record.
Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed. The competition starts on Sunday, and the draws will be done tomorrow. Then by tomorrow we'll know what the group looks like. Who and who will be in the same group. If Nadal and Djokovic will be in the same group, but I doubt, because I'm sure they are going to use seeding. They are going to seed them. I'm sure that they will be seeded in different groups. Then we have others attend to them. So when we take a look at the group by tomorrow, we'll begin to do permutations as to who and who can qualify from each of the group to the semi-finals. And after that, as we know in sports, not just tennis, anything can happen when it gets to that stage. So the ATP finals set to hold this year for the last time at the London O2 Arena. From next year, it will go to Turin, and we don't know how long it will last in Turin. This competition is held at a particular venue for some time. After it shifted, it was in New York for some time. It came to London O2 Arena, and it has previously been held in Stockholm, Sydney, Houston, Hanover, and Frankfurt. So it has been in London O2 Arena since 2009. That's the past 11 years. So from next year, it goes to Turin, Italy. We don't know how long it will last in Turin. But it's usually the season-ending competition for tennis, and it starts on Sunday. We'll keep you posted on events on that championship on this program. Be rest assured of that. We'll take another break and then serve you Super Eagles Watch in the course of the break, and then we'll come back. If we have time, we'll talk about other things. Otherwise, we'll just do our closing formalities. So we'll take Super Eagles Watch now. Welcome to Super Eagles Watch, as we continue to keep you up to speed with the performance of Nigerian players across the globe. But for now, we are concentrating on the countdown to the African Cup of Nations qualifier between Nigeria and Sierra Leone, taking place on Friday at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium, Benin City. The Super Eagles had their first training session yesterday evening at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium ahead of Friday's clash against the Lone Stars of Sierra Leone. 16 players took part in the 1-hour training session under the watchful eyes of Coach Gennett Raw and other members of the technical crew. Players in camp as at early today are Ahmed Musa, William Troost Ekong, Alex Iwobi, Ola Aina, Joe Aribo, Leon Balogun, Kevin Akpoguma, Sebastian Osigwe, Zaidu Sanusi, Tyron Eboyi, Etebo Ogenekaro, Maduka Okoye, Ikechukwu Ezenwa, Chidozie Awaziem, Kelechi Iheanacho, and Emmanuel Dennis. Coach of the Super Eagles, Gennett Raw, has re-echoed the words of his assistant, Joseph Yobo, stating that Sierra Leone will be difficult to beat. Raw has warned his players not to expect an easy game against the Lone Stars on Friday. Fears over the availability of Napoli striker Victor Osimhen for the match against Sierra Leone has been dispelled by Super Eagles coach Gennett Raw, who has confirmed that Osimhen will be arriving the Super Eagles camp today. Super Eagles vice captain William Troost Ekong is already looking beyond the match against Sierra Leone and even beyond the qualifiers. Ekong says the plan is not just to qualify for the African Cup of Nations, but to go to Cameroon and win the trophy. Super Eagles coach Gennett Raw has given a pass mark to the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium, Benin City. The coach said he was happy with the state of the pitch and hopes the team will enjoy playing on the lush green turf. Even as we await the arrival of Semi Ajayi in camp, his English Premier League club, West Bromwich Albion, has sent him and the club's other internationals a good luck message as a feature for their respective countries in the current international break. West Brom wrote on their website that Ajayi has been included in the Nigerian squad to face Sierra Leone in the African Cup of Nations double-header. It appears that Ikechukwu Ezenwa's involvement in the Super Eagles' first training session yesterday was not as replacement for South African-based goalkeeper Daniel Akpeyi, as the Kaizer Chiefs' safe hands is still being expected in camp today. Should he make it to Benin, the 34-year-old Akpeyi will battle Maduka Okoye of Sparta Rotterdam and FC Lugano's Sebastian Osigwe for the right to start in goal against Sierra Leone on Friday. That's Super Eagles Watch. We'll continue to keep you posted on happenings in the Super Eagles camp as we look ahead to the match against Sierra Leone on Friday. Welcome back to the Grand Sports Center. This is where we wrap it up on to this edition of the program. We hope you've had a nice time with us. And as we go, let us quickly congratulate our boss, the MD CEO, TSTV Africa, Dr. Bright Echefu, as he celebrates his birthday today. Happy birthday, sir. We wish you many more years as you continue to make giant strides and contribute to humanity. On behalf of all of us here, we want to say thank you for joining us, and may you enjoy the rest of the day. Welcome to Super Eagles Watch as we continue to keep you up to speed with the performance of Nigerian players across the globe. But for now, we are concentrating on the countdown to the African Cup of Nations qualifier between Nigeria and Sierra Leone taking place on Friday at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium, Benin City. The Super Eagles had their first training session yesterday evening at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium ahead of Friday's clash against the Lone Stars of Sierra Leone. 16 players took part in the 1-hour training session under the watchful eyes of Coach Gennett Raw and other members of the technical crew. Players in camp as at early today are Ahmed Musa, William Troost Ekong, Alex Iwobi, Ola Aina, Joe Aribo, Leon Balogun, Kevin Akpoguma, Sebastian Osigwe, Zaidu Sanusi, Tyron Eboyi, Etebo Ogenekaro, Maduka Okoye, Ikechukwu Ezenwa, Chidozie Awaziem, Kelechi Iheanacho, and Emmanuel Dennis. Coach of the Super Eagles, Gennett Raw, has re-echoed the words of his assistant, Joseph Yobo, stating that Sierra Leone will be difficult to beat. Raw has warned his players not to expect an easy game against the Lone Stars on Friday. Fears over the availability of Napoli striker Victor Osimhen for the match against Sierra Leone has been dispelled by Super Eagles coach Gennett Raw, who has confirmed that Osimhen will be arriving the Super Eagles camp today. Super Eagles vice captain William Troost Ekong is already looking beyond the match against Sierra Leone and even beyond the qualifiers. Ekong says the plan is not just to qualify for the African Cup of Nations, but to go to Cameroon and win the trophy. Super Eagles coach Gennett Raw has given a pass mark to the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium, Benin City. The coach said he was happy with the state of the pitch and hopes the team will enjoy playing on the lush green turf. Even as we await the arrival of Semi Ajayi in camp, his English Premier League club, West Bromwich Albion, has sent him and the club's other internationals a good luck message as a feature for their respective countries in the current international break. West Brom wrote on their website that Ajayi has been included in the Nigerian squad to face Sierra Leone in the African Cup of Nations double-header. It appears that Ikechukwu Ezenwa's involvement in the Super Eagles' first training session yesterday was not as replacement for South African-based goalkeeper Daniel Akpeyi, as the Kaizer Chiefs' safe hands is still being expected in camp today. Should he make it to Benin, the 34-year-old Akpeyi will battle Maduka Okoye of Sparta Rotterdam and FC Lugano's Sebastian Osigwe for the right to start in goal against Sierra Leone on Friday. That's Super Eagles Watch. We'll continue to keep you posted on happenings in the Super Eagles camp as we look ahead to the match against Sierra Leone on Friday.